We have number 19 USC, newly ranked USC. I've always believed in the Trojans. Glad my ballot mates can agree with me. Now taking on number 14 Notre Dame. And for both of these teams, maybe you haven't paid a ton of attention to them. You probably the last thing that you remember from USC is like early on, you did see this USC team. They haven't played like a ton of competition, right? We did see them with the walk-off field goal loss against Illinois, but then we did also see them pull a very convincing win against Michigan as well, seeing being them 31-13. Non-conference schedule, that is what it is. Not really a ton to really talk about there, but I mean USC is a team that has dominated its opponents, right? Outside of the Illinois game, where they've been averaging a winning margin of about 24 points per game. That should be extremely impressive. So, but the $1 million question with them dominating in the non-conference competition is, can USC have this ability to scale upward and match the level of competition that they're going up against? It was a little shaky at first with the Illinois game, but now that we see it against Michigan and it was like an impressive win, maybe one of those moments where, we see really that corner being turned for USC football under Lincoln Riley, where USC is able to put together a complete team. And we always knew that Lincoln Riley was a very gifted offensive mind, but his defenses were what always held him back. And we see that identity shift in a sense of, the defense is really starting to pick up, and maybe we really start to see, this next chapter of Lincoln Riley being fully implemented and being realized. Now, on the opposite end in Notre Dame, the question of whether they can scale upward and play at a high level against high level competition, that still needs to be answered, right? We saw them like really early in the year, and they were really competitive games, right? They were really competitive games against Miami, and it was a really competitive game against Texas A&M. They lost both, but they were really close losses where a ball bounce here or a ball bounce there, you could see like Notre Dame could have won both of those games. They lost both, but they could have absolutely won both of those games. Now, they dusted themselves off, and it was controversial at the time, but I always kept Notre Dame in the top 25, even when they started 0-2, because I believe that Notre Dame was still one of the best 25 teams in the country when they barely lose to top 10 programs by a combined 4 points. And what they've done against non-top 25 teams has helped proven that point. Winning convincingly against Purdue, winning convincingly against Arkansas to the point where Sam Pittman gets fired. Notre Dame causes a coach firing, and then they beat a really good Boise State team, one of the better teams in the G5, not in that playoff conversation currently, also because of that loss to USF, but that's still going to be a really good team in Boise State that is still the favorite in terms of winning the Mountain West. Still a really good squad. But the question still remains, can they scale upward in terms of high-level competition? And this is a high-level competition, and you're going to see it in a moment with the model. This is a make it or break it moment for Notre Dame. Keep in mind, Notre Dame already has 2 losses. And they don't have the benefit of a conference championship either. So it's already like teetering on, like, is 10-2 Notre Dame going to be good enough to make it into the college football playoff? If they lose this third game, they're done. They are going to be done. There isn't a lot of other opportunities for Notre Dame to pick up signature wins if they don't get this USC game. So even if they win the rest of their schedule after this, 9-3 ain't gonna do it. I'm sorry, it just ain't happening. So this is a really desperation moment, like from that perspective, in terms of having those goals in front of you. As a Notre Dame guy, I think Notre Dame is gonna come in a little bit hungrier than USC. USC, coming in from a ranked matchup themselves, gonna see, can USC get up for a game 2 times in a row? We saw them get up for Michigan. We haven't seen that part come out yet for Lincoln Riley. Can they get out and compete at a B plus or an A minus level against high level competition, can you do that twice? You did against Michigan. Can you do it here too? I think there's a belief that they possibly can, but at the same time, traveling across the country and going to play against a really good Notre Dame team, that's going to be a challenge. All teams making cross country road trips, guys. You already know I like historically betting against those teams because that is a huge adjustment to the schedule. So, all that in mind, let me go ahead and pull up this model real quick. And the model and FanDuel are on literally the same page right there. FanDuel has Notre Dame as a 9.5 point favorite. I got them as a 9.5 point favorite. So, the model and FanDuel locking arms, you love to see it. So, what's going to decide this game? It's really going to come down to which team is going to impose its offensive style more. USC is going to be the type of team that's going to try to be a little bit more up-tempo and get those explosive plays either through the passing game or through the running game. USC doing a very good job running the football, by the way. While Notre Dame, on the other hand, they're going to be looking to try. The big keys for them continue to be balanced. CJ Carr has been nice. Very good quarterback for Notre Dame, but still a young quarterback. Definitely want to continue to supplement with the running game. You got some very good tailbacks in Jeremiah Love leading the way. Going to make sure you have some balance. Avoid turnovers. Win that turnover battle. And then it's also going to come down to who's going to do a little bit better in the red zone. Both teams, I think, are going to have multiple red zone opportunities, obviously. Who's going to do a better job with that? On the opposite side, in addition, USC definitely going to be looking to challenge the Irish secondary while and really also make Notre Dame defend the entire field. So, all that said, got the model already up, as I mentioned. This is a game that provides an opportunity to where is Notre Dame as good as what they say they are? We saw them dominate against Arkansas. We saw them win convincingly against Purdue and Boise State. Is Notre Dame just the type of team that just beats up on bad teams but then falter against very good to elite programs? Or is Notre Dame that same level of team that we saw from them last year, or they're starting to find another gear as a team? It's what you are in week number 1 is not going to be the same team as you are in week 14. It shouldn't be that way because you should continuously be improving. And I think with the fact that this game is, you're hosting a team that's traveling all the way across the country to play you, and the fact that this game is going to be in your home building, plus, not to mention, I think Marcus Freeman, I've talked glowingly about Lincoln Riley in this particular preview. That doesn't mean that I think he's a better coach than Marcus Freeman. I have extremely high views of Marcus Freeman. I think Marcus Freeman is going to outcoach Lincoln Riley in this instance. And so with all that in mind, Marcus Freeman having the coaching advantage, the home field advantage, hosting a team, traveling across the country, well, I am extraordinarily high on USC. And I think USC, that's a team that is capable of making the college football playoff. Not tonight. Not on that Saturday night. I'm going with Notre Dame. I'm going to say that USC covers. I think it'll be a really good, intriguing game. Borderline shootout on our hands. I think both teams are going to put up plenty of points, but I think Notre Dame is going to find a way to outlast USC at the same time. Give me the Fighting Irish winning 34-30, being that final score.